Motho wa tso nka mogela mo tsatsing la gompieno leina la me ke ofense rame kwa jaaka metlha le matsatsi ke a go amogela mo tsatsing le leng gore ke la boraro sports show disc queens re lebeletse tse e leng gore di amana le tse e leng gore ke tsa metshameko gompieno mo tsatsing la gompieno ke tlile go bua le banna ba le bararo ke bua ka Thabiso from KZN a na le Tlhetsa from GP the something ke na le Rara from Pretoria ke bua ka ene Nick mo tsatsing la gompieno motho wetso e tlile go nna thulaganyo e leng gore e tletse mafolofolo e tlile go nna the robust topics tsele le tsele tse e leng gore di amana le tsa metshameko mo tsatsing la gompieno ke tlebe ntse ke di tshwere. First we go to Thabiso from KZN. How are you my brother? Say hi the viewers at home. Solo fela gore santse re bankanya sengwe fa solo fela fa Thabiso maybe it's a little bit of a network but we'll go back to Nick. Rara, just say hi to the viewers and then we can start the show because I know it's the second episode of Disc Queens coming to you live on Facebook and other social media. Nick from Pretoria, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you? I'm looking forward to the
All
show. I'm
good.
very excited today. This is our second episode, and yeah, we're gonna try catch the viewers up to the action we've been having week in week out with the women's football, and we literally like very close to the end of the season, and I'm very much excited to close it off with a bang. Back to you, sir.
And we're gonna try to go back to Tleza. Tleza, the analyst, one of the best around the country. I know Tleza Umlungu. Man, say hi to the viewers at home.
I'd like this opportunity and greet all the viewers at home. Greet my lovely competitor alongside me, Tabiso Nick, as well as the host of the show, my lovely competitor. I hope that not going to be drinking anything because we will Sundowns facing Kaizer Chiefs in the Carling Black Label. Of course, it's a women's show, but I know it is going to be a little nauseous about this one.
Last but not least, Tabiso from KZN. I call him Mr. Smooth because of his commentary. One of the best in the country. Say hi, man. Say hi to the viewers at home. Tabiso. Uh, I think we are at a technical glitch with Tabiso. Maybe we can sort out his mic there. Just try to sort out your mic and then we will get back to you again. But other than that, we are having a fantastic show today. We are going to be looking at the highlights for the weekend that happened with TX Galaxy Queens versus City Lets, and then looking at the highlights. Because we had one game in Hollywood Bet Super League, so we're gonna try to go back to Tabiso again, just to say hi for the viewers. Tabiso, I hope you're good with your mic. Maybe you mute your mic or something, because we are isolated from each other. You are from KZN, I am from this side, Northwest. So maybe.
Ubu abongile Tomo ke lokho maybe probably.
Siyabingelele eKZN, siyabingelele. Siyabingelele eKZN, sibingelele Northwest, sibingelele eGauteng, ePretoria. Siyanibona lapho bafethu. Yeah, thank you very much guys for having me. second episode, looking forward to it. La sizobe sibheka khona ibhola lethu elimnandi lamantombazane, sibone ukuthi badlala kanjani, sibone ukuthi abobani abashaya into yabo, ubani futhi mhlambe abadinga ama-tips nyana lapha kuthini ukuthi babe right.
Ke nagana mo tsatsing la ya ke nagana yalo gore mo tsatsing la gompieno re tlile go nna le thulaganyo le gore e tlhapile sentle le ga ile gore re thomile jalo ka note e le gore ke tlase bona ke thulaganyo e leng gore re tle go tshwaretse tsotlhe tse e leng gore wena o batla go ruta. Let me just go back to the weekend highlights. We had TX Galaxy, it went 0-0 with City Lets. They defended with their dear lives, and then back to the highlights of the weekend, TX Galaxy versus City Lets. Gents, let's have a look at the highlights, and then we go into a discussion after that.
Umabena laphana-ke TX Galaxy yona-ke laphana-ke evakashelo-ke namhlanje TX Galaxy Queens namhlanje-ke ivakashele yona-ke laphana kakhulu Sibusiso aba-ke laphana-ke unamthando webhola anya-ke udimpopom laselisuka lihlala lisuso laphana-ke le-TX Galaxy Queens the Rockets ezinze laphana-ke ku-position form Captain Malibane okuyena-ke laphana-ke uCaptain Malibane owaziwa-ke la okuyena-ke la emuva uJanet Mukota lase liyabeka nanya khombilo uyaligoba uMichelle lase-ke ibhola lakhe liba lide-ke laphana elithatha benze njani na lase-ke ibhola beliveza le-Rockets benze njani na bayabakhuthuza le-Rockets what a save laphana-ke okuyena-ke laphana-ke uNozinti okuyena-ke uSibongile Mphaxa phakathi eboxini base belichitha laphana-ke okuyena-ke le-City Let's bathola amamelo makhabane uyalithatha ubona umabhule lalisa kokuqala benze njani na awude TX Galaxy bashintsha umdlalo bathola amamelo makhabane enze njani na bayakokota nangu Janet asebe bavimba laphana-ke emuva lapho ake sibone benze njani le-TX Galaxy the Rockets zama ukuhlanganisa 1-2 baya phambili the Rockets nangu Peterson bethi-ke uPeterson usenda umlayezo laphana lamathasha ahlanganiswe laphana awubhekela isikonkoni eleqa enza-ke laphana-ke the bridge thathe-ke laphana-ke manje ibhola lase liyachithwa-ke manje laphana-ke leyithola laphana-ke manje awude TX Galaxy Queens wayisha kanye wayisha kwesibili wayisha kwesithathu ngakunjalo-ke wena mthando webhola-ke ake ngiyithathe-ke la.
What a fantastic match, gentlemen. We saw TX Galaxy versus City Lets, an exciting match. They defended with their dear lives, one could say, because I saw they were really struggling City Lets just to bypass the defense of TX Galaxy. They play smooth at the back, especially. But if you're going to start this conversation, I'm going to go to Cesar. We are going to have a robust conversation today. All Arsenal will be on display. Gonne ke a itse gore banna ba ke banna ba ileng gore ba netefatsa gore ba tshwere di gore re bua ka tsone matlhankana bantwa mo tsatsing la gompieno. But can you take us through the game, man?
I mean, when you get to look at, of course, total dominance by a team that were coming into this encounter as favorites, and the approach from the coach, the tactics on how to use the width of the pitch to his advantage, and spreading the balls out wide, trying to get into the half spaces, making sure that they can overload that midfield, have it compact and congested up front, of trying to be clinical and lethal. The only missing factor, of course, was Roja, which then also is a question mark in terms of them being composed enough and trying to make sure that they do not become overzealous and rush into the goalpost. But me, exception lads, when we talk about doing right intention, spending as a unit and being solid enough and making sure that they can be able to stay in the game as much as long as possible. Now, this point not only is going to put them in a very good place, but it will give them confidence going forward their next encounter. And another thing that played a very significant role for them is their anticipation and the awareness. At times, the lapse of concentration wasn't there, but you could see that the coach really came with a different tactic, a different approach, which then could point. Remember that it's an away game for them. TS Galaxy were playing at home, and it tells you in perspective when you get to look at the results on the day. TS Galaxy won't be happy about this results because they know they could have salvaged 3 points so that they're able to most definitely go up in the table to get as well that confidence going into next encounter. But for me, of the overload, the mid-throw battle, how they managed to be in sequence, the understanding, the tactical awareness, as well as the inagility and inability that brought the tenacity and the audacity. Over to you, Fence.
Yeah, I think they had a fantastic game, but it was lacking goals. Tabiso, to sum up before we go to Nick, your views on the we start with the discussion.
Yeah, Offense, thank you very much for the opportunity, my brother. Yeah, I did mention Uguti, this is going to be a tough game between ETS Galaxy and City Leds. Of course, both teams fighting for 3 points. Kwizindawo ezingafani kwilog. We look at City Leds, they really need at this point to stay safe of relegation zone. That was, of course, before we learned of the news that there won't be any teams relegated this season. But yeah, good results for City Leds, especially playing away from home. They really needed to have a strong unit in the defense, and they really had that, and they closed all the doors. They shut all the doors against TS Galaxy, who really tried to dictate and dominate, especially in the midfield. And as Usheza mentioned, they were spreading play, using the width of the pitch, playing that ball in the wings as well as in the midfield where you had the likes of Omamelo Makabane. But yeah, I think City Lets did well. Sheza.
Yeah, most certainly. When you get to look at, of course, how things have been.
Yeah, yeah, I think just before I bring you in, Cesar, Nick, your views on the game, just reflexes of the game. What do you think really happened on that game?
Gents, this thing that you're gonna be making excuses for top table sides like TS Galaxy, that thing must die. Otherwise, this league won't grow. I mean, some ever be taking the league. You can't be here talking about, oh well, City Lads had great defense. What great defense was that? I mean, they were leaking throughout the match. Like there was no great defense that I saw there. What happened to them this week is what happened to them against them and ladies. You know what I mean? So those excuses we keep making
Yeah,
for top
uh,
table sides needs to stop, need to end. These guys must come to the party and eat. If you watch the game that UCT had, the females from UCT had in the Sasol League, with them getting promoted in the semifinals, in the quarterfinals, they were thrashing teams because they're a superior team. If you're a superior team, you need to make sure and leave no questions. And I feel like this is why JVW, TS Galaxy, and all those mid table to top table sides are not challenging Sundowns. Is because we're gonna always have the excuse for them that, oh my goodness, those guys were defending for dear life. No, you're a quality side. Make sure that you are able to get
but
one out of
but
those games. It shows
but
character.
but I think if I look at the goalkeeper, they had their first opportunity, they couldn't score. The goalkeeper came out and saved. It's one of those goalkeepers that is really a butterfly, but he came all out, saved them in the first half and saved them in the second half. So I think they did really well. I mean, at the end of the day, you are going to pack the pass because you are trying to save yourself from relegation. But before that, let's go to Tabiso there. Tabiso, what do you think? I mean, what Nick said, saying it's all excuses at the end of the day. What do you have to say about that,
Thank you very much,
Tabiso?
Offensive. For me, I think it's a bit of both for me. because you look at City Led, you mentioned their goalkeeper, she was doing very well in terms of coming out and blocking those. But also, ETS Galaxy got quite a few chances that were like you feel they should have really punished the City Led. They missed Ama shots when they should have scored. You saw Ama shots going over the crossbar. Yeah, I think it was one of those matches that really needed a goal. And ETS Galaxy, I expected them to win the game, but they didn't, and they should have done better in terms of being lethal up front.
Exactly. Like these
I
guys
think
are
we
going to
also
the
have
transfer market. They go into the transfer market spending all that money every season just to end up being like in the fourth, fifth, sixth place. It doesn't make any sense. How can you tell me all those 4 or 5 chances in a game you're having City Let's goalkeeper saving all of them? Like there's a reason why as a striker you're getting paid that much money to go and play. Is to make sure that you convert those chances. We're not gonna make excuses for them. The defense was asleep. They had a chance to win that game 4 goals to 0, 5 goals to 0, and they need to capitalize. The only way these ladies are gonna make this league competitive is if they get very, very, very clinical up front and they get more goals.
I think
Now,
that I want
there's a
to add.
side. Yeah, I was about to, of course, jump in from Nick's perspective. Is that there's games of different magnitude. There's games that are complex. Now, in the game, City Leads were the ones that most certainly rose to the occasion, mainly because of the complex of the game. They're playing against the very immaculate side, quality side, good shifting, good movement, good rotation of the ball orientated as well, dominating the midfield battle. Now, the system and the pattern from the coach is that the low block needs to be very intact. The counter press needs to also be very lenient. Not only that, when you are playing route one and you're playing on the transition, you need to also make sure that you calculate the numerical number that is going to be forward. Use a lot of inside, get leak at the back, and the cracks also show. When, of course, of the game comes in. There's a stage where a team to a defensive shape, a stage where a team to the effective. Now, the effective stage is where a team now needs to make sure they get a goal or couple. Yes, he should have converted because of the quality and quantity they do have. Most that one is a very big case. But the keeper for me on the day, she was in the mood. And when you are in the mood, you must certainly your team in the game. And that's what reflexes game do possess. Yes, they can spend money they want to buy players. Yes, there are players who are very clinical in football. Yes, Gal was certainly not clinical in the sense of beating the goalkeeper who was learning a very to keep her side in the game. Over to you,
Yeah, and
Vincent.
that's why they won't be number one. That's why they won't be number one. We're gonna come back here next season having the same conversation. Spencer, let's go to the table, my brother, with you.
The table. Let's discuss two players which are very crucial for City Led and TX Galaxy. Michaels at the front is quick, and then I see in Dimeni at the middle of the park is controlling everything for TX Galaxy. Nick, you got to give away a point to City Leds for holding with their lives, becoming one of those teams that are really lacking because they were trying to save themselves from relegation before 18 teams in the Hollywood bets next season. But for that, I commend them. Really, they did their level best. They are away from home in Mbombela. They have traveled. It plays a psychological role in terms of players and preparation, coming into this game and playing a fourth position on top of the league. And then you have to give away a point for them. They did their level best at the end of the day. But before we go there, we're going to take a look at the log. City Led were sitting on fourth position with 28. Nick is okay.
Yeah, it is cut.
I think Nick is that TS Galaxy. It's little bit of a loose can at this moment.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Tabiso.
why look at the sides there. Just look at the sides there. Those number four, number five, number six, number three. UWC are the closest to the top, and that's because they're very consistent. And when they play home, they make sure that they're clinical and they get maximum points. If you are number four, if you're number five, if you're in the top eight, you can't just be playing to survive the league. You know what I mean? You have to be playing for I mean, how many years have they been in the league? You know what I mean? And every season we show them grace, of not really. I mean, JBW is another side that we're like they should be fighting for like the top two at least, and they still having the same situation, the same problems that it's like TS Galaxy are having, which is they do not convert when they should. And yeah, I'm gonna actually give the City lads goalkeeper thumbs up, but I'm gonna again say they left it till late. They should have chosen their battles like they did time. When it's time for survival, we see teams um, or, performing to the maximum. But during the season, we don't see those performances from them. So they need to start doing it earlier on, pick their battles, and make sure that they come away with at least a point when they're away. I think
Yeah, well, it's also quite of another different perspective, mainly because of how things now have unfolded for them. And it's back to the drawing board for a lot of teams because you can see that in all essence there is a certain number and percentage that team does want to have in the league in terms of getting the points. I'm looking at Mamelodi Sundowns and their goal difference. Um, they top notch. When now we can emphasize on the Betway Premiership. I know this is a women's show. You can even see the dominance of Mamelodi Sundowns at some point was superior, and it took a little bit of time for Orlando Pirates to then get the right players into the squad. So these teams need to look at the butternut because there's a lot of players who are playing in the amateur side who are very quality in the sense of coming in and making sure that can be able to maneuver something different. But yes, in the top
Okay.
eight, in the top five, you need to be very clinical. You need to be punctual. You need to make sure that you get as many points as possible as you can. So there is a certain team that needs to be dissected in this, of course, league, respectively, so that they can be able to challenge for Mamelodi Sundowns. But in order to challenge for Sundowns, you need to make sure that you bring in the rest of players, and there's a lot of phenomenal quality players that can be brought
hey,
on
Mr.
to the
Caesar.
TS Galaxy
Hey,
side of Royal AM.
did you see the girls who were playing at UCT? It's about to be. They're about to give a lot of people a run for their money up there in the top next season. Eh?
They must most
I,
certainly
I I think
because
that one.
now if they don't, yeah, if they
Yay.
don't, then
It's
it
gonna be
becomes super
dangerous, man.
difficult.
And, a lot of people are gonna cry. Eh?
Jumping,
Yeah, no,
jumping on jumping on Sasol League champions Ezimvelo. They beat UCT 2-0, which which for me was very surprising because UCT was doing very well in those and in the league championship. It was won by Unvelo from KZN, which means okay, really they're gonna stay in the league because we have the 18th team now. But Tabiso, can you give us your view on that on those two teams coming into the Hollywood Bet Super League next season?
Mfethu mina angimangalanga ukuthi iYezemvelo they managed to win, congratulations to them by the way, being the first team from KZN to win it. Yeah. You look at their season, you look at their 2024, they were able, ukuthi bawine ku KZN Sasol League Stream B undefeated, and they managed to win in the provincial playoffs as well, and they went on to play a total of 4 matches Uma national champs with 6 goals and 1 goal conceded, and that goal was a draw against EUCT. That means they played 3 matches without conceding. And credit to the coaches as well, because it means that when they played UCT and that 1-all draw, they sat down when they learned that they had to face UCT again in the finals. They sat down and really looked at their team, what they did wrong and what they did right, and they really worked on that. Hence defeating UCT by 2 goals to 0 in the final. So yeah, all I can say to the top league, to ESMVelo, hope they bring in the fire.
Ngiyabulile bafo.
UCT as well. We saw it was a very nice
Bafo ujabulile.
final.
Ujabulile bafo. Yay. Yeah.
No,
Another
we can't,
I think
we
Yeah,
cannot
so
and
yeah,
never
I think for me,
not be happy.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
think Tabiso,
Mfethu,
I'm
I
very
think
disappointed
ukuthi sure.
I think I'm very
Just last
disappointed
week
in
you were
Northwest
crying.
University.
Yeah.
I'm so
Just
disappointed in
last week you was
Northwest
crying,
for losing
thinking thing is gonna be
yeah,
relegated.
yeah. That's true. That's how soccer can happen on daily basis. It's more than just football, guys. But anyway, if you are tuning in into this show, it's Disky Queens talk show. I'm having Tabiso from KZN and Nick from Pretoria, and then Gauteng with Hleza Umlungu Omnyama, the classy commentators
Wow.
and our analysis on this show. It's Wednesday, by the way, but if you are tuning in, welcome again, man, because we're having a fantastic conversation with these 3 gents in the show today. But before we round off, we're going to look at the TX Galaxy versus TX Galaxy versus this team is going to play in this weekend.
UWC?
UWC, yes, UWC.
Yeah,
TX Galaxy
UWC.
versus
Very
UWC. Your views
Very
on that?
It's very
Yeah.
wow. Like they're gonna bury them. We're
Well,
not even gonna try
they
and go. If
trouble.
they fail to do anything to City Lands, they're about to be buried in Cape Town. And I that's all I can say. You know how Cape Townians haven't had water in the last 4 years. All that water
Yeah.
from the sea is gonna be a flood. There's gonna be floodgates open there, and they're gonna be
Nick,
raining on them. You know what I mean? They're gonna rain.
Nick,
They're gonna rain on Chess Galaxy. Yeah, well, remember keep a Lubumbashi some Pumalanga, but it's fine. Cesar, what do you think? I think it's gonna
Well,
be fire, man. I
if
think
it
it's gonna
means
fire.
that
They have to redeem themselves.
we talking about the nature of the match. Let's be quiet. It's not going to be a simple task because now psychologically from this point drop that they've had is TS Galaxy, and yes, we know how Cape Town is in terms of coming to the weather condition, the weather because it continuously changes. But I think if they can pull Abongile Tom there slightly, or a Victor Hlongwane, or even an Ace Nobo, I think they'll be good. Or go to Tata or something, and
You
and
see,
get
already
some sort.
making excuses about the weather. Already, we're making excuses about the goalkeeper ACT Lens. Now it's gonna be the weather. What are we gonna be saying next year?
No,
Lutaksana malahle
no.
malahleni.
To be quite fair, and emalahleni kuba yena leyo yokuthi wonke umuntu ufuna ukugcina. Phela masekhona namalahle kuba yenye stampede.
Yeah, upcoming games, guys. Let's check out the upcoming games and just wrap up the show. I want Bafungo Puziti, Evangelina
Let's see them.
Dinner, Subabambeze, Mr. Fencer.
I think again, Banyana Kosafa Cup, they won their first match yesterday, beating Namibia. But I think, guys, this is the end of the show. Tabiso, congratulations to Izim Velo for winning that Sasol League. You know, coming in, it's going to be a very exciting season. It's going to be a very exciting season, Jets. I don't want to lie. We have a match that's going to be exciting. UCW versus TX Galaxy. Hotona di pula. I don't think
Hey,
TX Galaxy is
hey,
more than ready to face UCW, because UCW, by the way, is going to CAF Women's Champions League after winning that COSAFA tournament, beating Gaborone United. Yes. So Nick, Tabiso, and Cesar, this is how we end the show, guys. Any last view before? What are you looking for into the weekend
hey,
before
listen,
we let go
I
of
mean, I
this one?
just want to say, I'm just saying the two bottom teams, but hamba besinde. I want to love us a KZN.
Saved by the
Mabangabhekana
bell.
next year
Saved by the
kuzorelegate
bell.
wa-3 kuzorelegate wa-3 yabona next year kungahamba 3 ungacanga ukuthi usindile ke ndoda apho uzomele ukuthi ngikhuphule
I know,
amasokisi otherwise ijazi
They
lizawugcwala
will get
umoya.
I
you.
know, definitely. I think
You
now
gonna
Cesar,
Mantombazane,
go.
they know
You'll
ukuthi
be heading
they have to
home.
pull up their socks.
You'll be going home next season. Next season you'll be going home. So you need to make sure that you get a proper coach, proper players, right? Mentee, characteristics, show that numerical superiority and personnel. But overall, let's be quite honest. Congratulations, of course, to W for making sure that they can be to play in Central Africa, North Africa, because
Yeah.
the stature there is super different. So they need to most certainly set. But as for me, Cheza the Englishman, Mlungu Mnyama, thank you much for helping me and making me join this
before
beautiful
before
show. These lovely compatriots of mine, Tabiso and Nick.
before I let you go, guys, I swear to God that Mamelodi Sundowns is not going to win the league next season. That is a promise, because I saw a much better improvement in all the teams that I watched this season. But see, Valaganjalo Namtaje Bafetu Emakaya. This is Ofetera Mbekwa. By the way, making sure that I give
Hey.
you a Disky Queens talk show, one of the best, man. Just tune in next week, Tuesday, where we're going to be having episode. Hala la vista. Bye bye. This one. Hey, this one was not me, man. Yes. Yeah.